after the presumption of death and the house was cleared, was the residence secured until major crime got there?
Yes, ma'am.
And at some point, did major crime get there?
Yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Ross? Briefly. Good afternoon, good morning. I'm Attorney Santos at the defense lawyer. When you responded to the residents, did you ever see in the residence any masks? Masks?
Masks?
Yeah. Did you ever see in the residence any bandanas?
I'm sorry?
No. And when you went to the, when you were at the residence, was there any gun located?
No.
And when you were at the residence, was there any, particularly as you went up to the second floor, did you go actually into the second floor or just on the threshold?
What do you mean, sir? We went up the stairs.
Yeah.
Into the landing area, yes.
Right.
And then we cleared the room, we cleared there was some rooms upstairs, but we did not go into, Mr. Vitale, the room where the body was across the threshold, we did not go into that.
Wherever you went, did you happen to observe whether or not there was a knife as you went up the stairs?
No, sir.
There's a phrase, crocodile Dundee knife. Yeah.
I did not say crocodile.
Ever hear-
Knife, sir.
You ever hear of the phrase crocodile Dundee knife?
I've seen it.
I know it's not a legal phrase,
I have not, sir.
but there's nothing like that up there.
No.
I'm not talking about kitchen knives.
I did not say it, sir.
Thank you, sir.
No, Your Honor. State calls Detective Arthur Walkley to the stand. See.
Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm as the case may be that the evidence you shall give concerning this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God or upon penalty of perjury.
I do.
Would you please state your name and business address for the record and spell your last name?
First name Arthur, A-R-T-H-U-R. Last name Walkley, W-A-L-K-L-E-Y. Address 452A, Bennington Road, Litchfield County.
Thank you.
Mr. Steve?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, what is your current occupation?
Federally assigned as a detective with the West District Major Crime Squad.
And just keep your voice up, we're having a hard time hearing all the way back here. Those mics don't amplify, they're only recorded. How long have you held that position?
I've been a detective with the Major Crime Squad since 2007.
And in major crime, are there detectives that are in criminal investigation and also detectives that work on the van?
That's correct.
Could you describe the difference for the jury, please?
I can. Western District Major Crime comprises both the CI side, which is criminal investigation, which can normally allow for criminal investigation. They're dealing with suspects, witnesses, compiling affidavits, search warrants, and arrest warrants, whereas the Major Crime Squad, CI side, and then the van squad side, there's 5 detectives, sometimes 6 assigned to the van. Their primary role is the processing of crime scenes.
And does that van, that goes from, covers all of the jurisdiction of Western District? So if there's a crime, it's those same people on the van that will go to that crime scene, whether it's from as far north as Eden or as far south as Bridgeport, in the area covered by Western District. Fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
And now your current occupation is now in CI, criminal investigation.
Yes, ma'am.
Had you been on the van at any point?
I was.
And approximately what time period was that?
Started as an alternate in 2007, then full-time in 2008, until the end of 2013.
And how long have you been a trooper with Connecticut State Police?
January of 1998.
That's when you were officially started your tour duty as a trooper.
Yes, ma'am.
And could you briefly go through your educational background and training to become a trooper, and more specifically, any training that has assisted you as a detective in major crime?
Yes, ma'am. It was a full-time academy, approximately 6 months. After the academy, once I was assigned to major crime, basic crime scene, intermediate crime scene, advanced crime scene investigation courses, blood spatter investigation, both basic, intermediate, and advanced crime scene reconstruction, shooting reconstruction, death investigation, and courses among that same thing.
And is it fair to say that you keep current on an annual basis, attending as many additional trainings as possible?
Yes, ma'am.
Prior to your stint in major crime, whether that was as a band member or in criminal investigation, what positions within the state police did you hold?
I was a uniform patrol trooper from 1998 until getting into major crime. And during that time, I was also assigned to the emergency services unit, which is our SWAT team, a tactical unit, for 8 years.
Do you also have medical background, sir?
I did.
And what is that?
Prior to becoming a state trooper, I was certified in New York and Florida as an emergency medical technician, as well as a paramedic in New York.
Now, drawing your attention to August 6, 2012, was the major crime van called to a scene at 399 Cornwall Bridge Road in Sharon, Connecticut?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you respond on that particular day to that scene as a member of the crime van?
I did.
Could you explain what happened and roughly who responded, the type of personnel who responded?
Major crime is some of these specialized units where I'm called 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This evening, when the call came in, I was at home, so they notified me work cell phone. This day, I went from my residence to headquarters and retrieved the major crime van, which is our work platform that seems to carry all of our equipment, packaging material, chemicals, and the technical stuff that we utilize in the processing. Drove it from headquarters to the scene.
And once at the scene, what is typically, and in fact, in this case, what occurred?
I drove up to the scene and I was directed into the cordoned off area by security personnel, troopers, uniformed troopers who were at the head of the driveway on the intersection of the driveway and Cornwall Road.
And how typically is the scene processed?
By major crime personnel, it's a very unbiased, objective process. There are two parallel investigations going on simultaneously. The CI side, we're going out interviewing witnesses, neighbors, suspects, and then you have the van side, where actually inside the residence looking to memorialize the scene, photograph it, videotape it, sketch it out, and then it's a systematic search from outside the scene into the scene looking for physical evidence.
And is there generally a search warrant obtained in the case prior to entering the scene?
There was,
And was there one in this case?
there was,
And based upon that, what time, based upon the need to obtain a search warrant, what time did the major crime van begin processing this scene?
that would have been in early morning hours 6, the evening of, set up our equipment and waited for the search warrants to be signed first.
And from the time period that the scene was initially secured by first responders until that time, does it remain secure in that no one is allowed to enter the home?
It does.
Would you please describe the general location of the scene?
It's rural northwest corner. The residence was set back off the south side of Cornwall Road. It was a single-family residence, two-story, maintained property, yard. Lawn was maintained, cut, trees, forestry, pond in the backyard. There were trails, to the wood on the property, groom trails.
Detective, prior to coming here to testify today, did you have occasion to review a disc of photos of the scene and the property surrounding the residence?
Yes, ma'am.
And were those photos, and of course, items within the scene itself,
Yes, ma'am.
were those photos accurate depictions of the scene at the time that you entered the scene and started to document?
The ones that I saw, yes, ma'am.
I would offer these as a whole.
Was it marked?
Mark it right now.
No,
States 5, full.
Understand there's no objections, so please heard it.
The state has provided this particular list to the defendant with the photos that were at issue today.
So now we'll work with the C and
While I'm waiting for that.
states 6, 7, 8, 9 for ID.
Detective, showing you where the United States 6, 7, 8, and 9 for ID. Do you recognize those items depicted therein?
Yes, ma'am.
And are they accurate depictions of that which is depicted therein?
Yes, ma'am.
And in fact, are they sketch maps of the residents, each floor, and just a general curtilage, sketch of the curtilage of the residents as well?
That's correct.
But these are not to scale, they're merely sketch maps identifying the location of various rooms in relation to one another. Fair to
Yes,
say? I'd offer them as full.
okay.
We mark this for exhibits dates 6, 7, 8, and 9.
I think they all have that. Your Honor, may I ask the witness to step down so that I can have him describe his photos in relation to the sketch map as we go through the testimony,
I
please?
can, when you step down, and you ask questions, respond, just be sure you're and as always, with all of this, you guys, that's all you want to.
You had kind of circle there.
Of course.
Detective Walker, if you could describe what this photo,
Someone use that same microphone also.
could you please describe what's depicted in this photo?
Yes, this is one of the uniform cruisers, which would have been at the top of the driveway on Cornwall Road. This is, I believe this is the driveway to the residence, and this would be looking east down Cornwall Road.
And
Counsel, can I just ask, is this states 5?
this is States 5, the first photo.
And
For the record, I'll go through these seriatim. They're not individually marked in a numerical order.
understood, can you tell me approximately how many photos are in states 5? It's approximate. That's all right, if you don't know the exact number.
I don't have the
That's
exact
all right.
number, but I can confirm for the court, and we can put that on record at a later date.
All right, there are numerous photos within
There
states
are.
5.
And just, if we can move it a little bit closer to the TV, because the otherwise I'm going to turn it back.
Okay, Trooper. So, I think using the identification at the top, 1:2. This photo is a photo of Cornwall Bridge Road with the driveway to the residence on the right-hand side of the photo.
That's right.
Okay, and now referring you to States Exhibit 8, would that be located, the vehicle, the trooper vehicle, the cruiser that we see there, would that be located at the bottom on Cornwall Bridge Road here is depicted in this general area? So on this particular exhibit, to the left of this dirt driveway, as it's indicated.
That's correct. The cruiser would have been in this general area right here.
Okay, and so if you could just, as you held it up there, if you could just describe for the jury, as we're looking at that, using the sketch map, just please describe to the jury what we're looking at on that sketch map.
Yes, ma'am. This would be Cornwall Bridge Road right here. The cruiser, like I said, would be in this general area here. The driveway proceeded in a southerly direction.
Excuse me, I don't think they can see down there.
Good. The driveway proceeded from Cornwall Bridge Road in a southerly direction and sort of opened up at the base to a parking area in front of the actual residence itself.
Now on State's Exhibit 5, photo noted as number 2. What is that perspective, sir?
This would be looking westward. Same general area, this would be the corner of the driveway over here. Shadow the uniform trooper, but this would be looking down Cornwall Bridge Road in a westerly direction.
And fair to say that very rural area, very few houses, few and far between on Cornwall Bridge Road.
That would be correct.
Photo 3 on State's Exhibit 5, what's that, sir?
This would be looking from Cornwall Bridge Road down the driveway. This would be the top of the driveway here. That marked cruiser that we were looking at in the previous photo would be in this general area here. So this is heading south, down the driveway towards the residence.
And when you said this general area, you're designating to the left of the photo.
To the left of the photo, that would be correct.
Now, moving on to what's been designated photo 4 in State's Exhibit 5.
This is the detective who was assigned to taking photographs that day, working his way down the driveway. So it's same driveway, same view, just a different perspective as he works his way towards the residence.
Now, in this particular instance, is this a view looking back toward Cornwall Bridge Road?
That would be correct.
And that is, that roadway that we're looking on, is that the driveway to the residence?
This is where it starts to turn at the base of the driveway towards the residence. So this, you get a perspective from the view, Cornwall Bridge Road would be right up here at the top.
Now, what's been marked on 7:1 as a photo, what is this, sir?
This would be the north side of the residence, from the perspective of probably where that dog heel was in the driveway.
Now, showing you what's been marked, designated 7:2 of State's 5, what is that, sir?
This would be the north side of the residence as we found it when we started the project.
And the yellow tape across at the bottom of that particular photo, what is that, sir?
That would be an inner perimeter. We would set up at a scene like this, an outer perimeter, which would have been by the driveway, limiting access into the driveway. And this would be an inner perimeter. This is a house. As you see, we have placed down a motor already.
Now, looking at what's been designated 7:3, what is that, sir?
This is looking southeasterly direction towards the breezeway area between the house and the garage, as well as the garage and the vehicle.
And on State's Exhibit 8, we have a vehicle on this particular sketch map, Exhibit 8, sir, right here. Is that designating the vehicle that we see in this particular picture, 7:3?
It does.
7:4, what's depicted in that photo?
Here we are, we're facing the photographer. It's, again, picking up the front and the eastern side of the house, a view across the front yard.
Just a different perspective from a different angle.
Yes, sir.
Can you just keep your voice up, please?
Sorry. Now we're looking at photo designated 7:5. What's depicted there?
Again, it would be the north side of the residence, the rear of the vehicle that was parked there, and this was the primary end that I had talked about earlier, set up in front of the residence.
Now looking at 7:6, what's there, sir?
This would be the driver's side of the vehicle that was parked in front of the residence, the front of the breezeway and single-car garage, and down to the east side towards the rear of the property.
Now looking at picture 7:7, what's designated there, sir?
This would be that breezeway area between the main residence and the garage. It's showing the entry door to the residence, to the kitchen area, as well as the view to the back of the property.
And the door on the other side, sir, do you know where that goes to?
That would be to the garage.
And again, utilizing State's Exhibit 8, if you could just designate now where we're looking.
The detective would be standing in this area right here, catching the the door to the residence over here, as well as the garage door over here.
And when you're designating, you're talking about the area marked open breezeway, although it's upside down as we look at this particular map. And so as you're designating this, you've designated on the right side of the photo, that doorway goes into the kitchen, which on this particular sketch map would be on the left side of the photo.
Yes, ma'am.
And then on the other side of the picture, on the left side of the picture, as you've designated, that's the doorway into the garage, that would be on the right side.
That is correct.
Just now looking at 7:8, this is just a close-up of the door into the kitchen.
Yes, ma'am.
And looking at 7:9, this is a close-up of the door into the garage.
It would.
Okay, and can we see in the back there, is that a portion of a deck?
Yes, it is.
And is that designated on State's Exhibit 8 anywhere, sir?
Yes, it is. That's right here.
And that's again marked deck
Yes, ma'am.
on the map, thank you. Photo 8, what's depicted therein, sir?
Okay, this would be just north and east of the garage. So if you were standing in front of the garage, looking back up to Cornwall Ridge Road, this is that side property and some of those entrances to the trails that went through the woods that I mentioned earlier.
And now looking at photo 9 on State's Exhibit 5.
Again, this is a single-car garage. You're looking northeast, again, showing the rural area, the trees, as well as some of those trails.
And so as we're looking at State's Exhibit 8, if we have garage down in the bottom right corner, you can see that, is that the garage door there on the right of the photo mark 9?
Yes, ma'am.
And would that be right here as we look where the driveway seems to enter into the garage on the sketch map?
Yes.
Now, photo 10:1, is that a shot as we're going around the corner of the garage?
Correct. The view facing south on the eastern side of the garage. So the front of the garage is here. This is the end of the actual structure. And you're looking into the back of the property.
So basically, we're looking at the backyard of the property from the point of the corner of the garage.
That's correct.
Now we're looking at 10:2. What does this designate, sir?
This would be the rear or the south side of the property. You can see the steps for the deck that we were mentioning earlier, and the geography, if you will, of the frame of the backyard.
And are those steps to the deck